We're joined by SABC News correspondent Nick Harper. Nick, good evening. Thank you so much for coming on. Really do appreciate it. Perhaps let's get a sense of what the Sherpa meeting agenda is looking like. Is there anything coming out of the State Department and the White House pertaining to what the agenda for the Sherpa meeting will focus its attention on?
Good evening, Oliver. I think it's interesting to note the severe lack of fanfare that is surrounding these initial G20 meetings. The finance ministers meeting that's meant to be getting underway and the Sherpas meeting. Monday and Tuesday this week, that's when they're sitting down to discuss all of these things. And any other country, under any other normal circumstance, would normally make a lot of fanfare about this. It would be an opportunity to speak about goals over the next 12 months. You would have officials from the State Department, the White House, coming forward to lay all of this out. And yet that's exactly what we are not seeing. This is something that is taking place without fanfare, without the opportunity of high-ranking officials to come out and champion not just the US causes, but really what the US hopes to achieve over the next 12 months. But I think that very much aligns with the Trump White House and its seemed plans for the G20. As we heard there, this idea of it being an affront to multilateralism, excluding South Africa. But we know that multilateralism is not exactly something that the Trump administration loves and enjoys. It's something that it tries to shirk. Its involvement in the United Nations, for example, which is all about multilateralism, is very, very lacking. And yet the Trump administration is all about that unilateral approach, that America first idea. And therefore we're really hearing nothing about what is taking place over these 2 days, nothing about the agenda and what they're hoping to discuss. We've heard from the Trump administration in very scant details about what they will be looking to do over the next 12 months, but in terms of these first few days, the opportunity for fanfare, it's certainly something that the Trump administration is not taking the opportunity to publicise.
Yeah. Are we hearing from anything from any of the other member states who are participating in this, particularly those who are also G7 members, what their view is on the position that the Trump administration has taken, not just to reject South Africa's participation or to at least say to South Africa, we're not going to enable you to participate, we'll just deny your visas. And not just that, but also the fact that not much is being communicated by the US State Department and Sherpa about what the goals, the program of action were to look like for the next year going forward, and what the structure of the meetings will be going forward. Because we know that the Trump administration said that there were some of these tracks and track meetings that it'll just completely get rid of.
Well, that's right. And just on that last point, they are very much looking for a scaled-down G20 set of meetings during the course of this year. I think really leading up to the Leaders' Summit next November, an opportunity perhaps for Donald Trump to take the stage and be involved in a little bit of multilateralism, but scaling back many of the meetings that you would normally see during that one-year presidency, the opportunity to try and grapple with some of the biggest, not just economic problems facing the world, but other things like inequality, poverty, climate change. Those type of things will not, it would seem, be on the United States agenda. In terms of other countries and their response, we've already heard a bit of grumbling from other countries, including, for example, the German Chancellor, Friedrich Merz. He said that he was hoping to change President Donald Trump's mind at some point over the next year to allow South Africa to be involved. We've also heard from China, who would prefer, they say, for South Africa to be involved. We know, as we heard just a moment ago, South Africa is not looking for other countries to boycott this meeting, but they're also hoping that this will not set a precedent, the ability for one country to unilaterally exclude another. And that's why we've seen the Department of International Relations and Cooperation putting out this letter to other G20 nations saying that they are requesting that the issue of South Africa's exclusion be placed on the agenda. They want discussion and clarification about this point. They want to ensure that it doesn't set a precedent going forward. So they are petitioning other G20 members to try and take their side, but they're not looking for an all-out boycott.
Yeah, and just lastly, we know about the set of meetings that will be taking place now, and of course the finance ministers' meetings taking place. But we also know that the finance ministers and Reserve Bank governors meetings that are set to take place during the World Economic Forum Davos meeting, and those meetings will happen on the sidelines of those gatherings in January in a few weeks. Do we know if there's a program that's been sketched out for those meetings and what it will pertain to?
Well, if there has been, it certainly hasn't been widely publicised. We know that as part of this initial Monday-Tuesday set of meetings, we should be seeing the finance ministers, the bank governors getting together, at least to begin discussions on things like stability, growth, financial system reforms. But in terms of one other essential set of meetings that will not be taking place, and that's the G20 Troika. This is the idea that the last G20 president, the current G20 president, and the future G20 president, so a grouping of 3 countries, would come together to discuss things. So normally you would see South Africa, the United States and the United Kingdom, who will be taking this over in 2026, 2027, come together to discuss really an idea for consistency, for collaboration. But the United States has told South Africa that Troika Forum will be ditched. That will not be taking place. So there is that concern, that idea of continuity, continuing on some of the really big things that were discussed in Johannesburg. That simply will not happen this time around.
Yeah, certainly causing a continuity problem there, but it's for the UK to decide whether or not they will continue to engage with South Africa, perhaps separately in a different forum, in maintaining and sustaining those Johannesburg resolutions. We're going to have to leave it there. Nick Harper, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.